just for you. But it ain't from a bad place, oh yeah. Tryna be a better me just for you. But it ain't easy, it's hard to get used to. Minding my own business, I'm not worried about what he do. Cause nowadays all the niggas they be see-through. I always said this is I don't stay around people. Finding my own path like I'm writing my own sequel. Two-faced people all around, they be evil. 2021, you can never trust nobody. Good and bad thoughts on my mind, they be crowded. Pushing to get past his limits, then he see he bought it. Family work hard, but I never guess I'm found it. Came a long way in my dream, now I be drowning. They dying out here, got some hearts pounded. Multi-talented, my passion, I haven't found it. Yeah, in my home, I was never ever doubted. I'm here from a bad place, oh yeah. Tryna be a better me just for you. But it ain't easy, it's hard to get used to. Minding my own business, I'm not worried about what he do. Cause nowadays all the niggas that be see-through. I always said this is I don't stay around people.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to GFC Garvan. And I am not Garvan, as you guys know. But, coming from a bad place, oh yeah, that song, that intro, that countdown is always fantastic to hear. The music itself is always good, and it shows that there's a lot of multi-talented individuals that Garvan knows as well. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching this another edition of the Premier League weekly roundup or news. Now, this is on the later side. There are some fixtures that I will be involving in the discussion as well, as due to unfortunate circumstances, the weekly roundup show could not have been done on the weekend to round up that particular week that would have ended. Now, this is literally one day before the weekend starts again. However, there's a lot of news, there's a lot of injuries and other things that I believe need to be discussed ahead of the coming weekend. So I believe that the best thing to do is that we take a look back at what took place regarding the top teams and other teams as well in the Premier League, the English Premier League to be exact. So sit back and then hope you guys will enjoy the show today, this evening, this afternoon, depending on what time it is for you guys. But I will start off with what I usually do when these shows are being done, and that is to go through the matches that would have taken place around this 7 days prior, but to take into account some of the matches that obviously took place prior to 7 days ago. So 9 days, it may go back to that. But we will start with Nottingham Forest versus Liverpool. Now, this match took place, as you guys can see. I hope you guys can see it as well. This took place on the 14th of January 2025, which would have been a Tuesday. And this match was a match that was actually an even match. We are aware of the fact that Nottingham Forest are in the top three presently. They are having an excellent season. And this match solidified the fact that they actually have some level of bragging rights as to why they are in the position that they are in. And, they allow Liverpool to leave the City Ground Stadium with only a point. This match would have been a positive for them. Obviously, they would have wanted to get a win. Obviously, if you take the lead, which you can see, they took in the 8th minute through Chris Wood, you'd obviously want to see all that result and obviously get a win and get 3 points. And obviously, we know that situation between Forest and Liverpool is a case where, if Forest had won that match, they go closer to, that top place spot. Something that I'm sure a lot of fans, neutral fans, rival fans of Nottingham Forest would not have expected of the Nottinghamshire-based team. So, this is the first match that we'll be discussing, but we do know that in this match, in order for it to have been a draw, Diogo Jota had to score in the second half, the 66th minute to be exact, with an assist from Tsimikas. Now, the goal that Chris Wood scored in the first half was via an assist from Anthony Elanga, who has been having somewhat of a good season for Nottingham Forest. He hasn't started matches consistently, but when he does, they depend on him to get an assist or a goal. And, in this match in particular, he was able to get an assist and help Nottingham Forest have taken the lead when they did as well. So let's move on to the next fixture that took place. Bear with me. Let this thing load back up. Right. So the next match that will be discussed here will be West Ham versus Fulham. And this match ended in a 3-2 win for West Ham. West Ham found themselves in a very close 5 goal thriller. And it would have been concerning for them, considering the fact that they had a 3 goal lead for around 68th minute. I beg your pardon. They had a 2-0 lead after the first half. Alex Iwobi would have scored a goal to make it 2-1. Therefore, my reporting there is inaccurate, as we saw that Lucas Paqueta had to get back that 2 goal lead for them that they had to make it 3-1. Alex Iwobi would have gotten another goal to complete his brace, and the match would have ended 3-2. Now, for the goals, to give you a specification as to what happened, West Ham opened the screen in the 31st minute through Carlos Soler. They scored 2 minutes later, 90 seconds later, through Thomas Suchek, who would have been given the opportunity via an assist from Aaron Wan-Bissaka, the player that is quite recently, in recent time actually, affiliated with Manchester United as well. So, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, he's been vital for West Ham in this match. He would have been vital for them, and he was important for them to have gotten a 2 goal cushion and, to see out that first half with a 2 goal lead. Or the second half, as I said before, it wasn't the same as the first, as it didn't take long for Fulham to get a goal back, as Alex Iwobi scored in the 51st minute via an assist, firstly, from Anthony Robinson in the 51st minute. Then that was followed up with Lucas Paqueta's goal in the 67th minute. Danny Ings getting the assist, only for Alex Iwobi to get another goal to make it only a 1 goal lead via another Robinson assist in the 78th minute. You can move on to the next fixture, but I'm going to ensure that I do some housekeeping work and remind you guys to please ensure that you subscribe and you turn on notifications to not miss another show on the GFC Garvan channel. This is very important. GFC Garvan is entrusting me with the responsibility of, hosting, the weekly roundup shows for him, the news weekly roundup show for him. And I think the least I could do alongside that is to ensure that I advise you all to ensure that you are subscribe to the channel, that your notifications are on, and I'll take it a step further and say that you should drop a like as well. So let us move on to the next fixture as we try to progress rapidly to the news aspect of the weekly roundup. But let's move on to all right. So I apologize for that. As you probably guys would have heard, that I was having a cough while ago. I apologize for that. But let's move on to the next match. The show must go on. And it's Chelsea versus Bournemouth. This match ended in a 2-2 draw. Neither side were able to get all 3 points. However, from a Chelsea perspective, they would have been able to feel somewhat satisfied, as it looked very much like they were going to lose that match, especially after the fact that they had to get their goal in the stoppage time. But let's go through the proceedings of this match. So, for Chelsea, they opened the scoring through Cole Palmer in the 13th minute via an assist from Nicholas Jackson. However, They were not able to capitalize on the opportunities that they would have created after that. And as a result, that gave Bournemouth the avenue to believe that they could actually come back and actually cause an upset for Chelsea, who at that time were winless for a period of 4 matches in the Premier League. However, due to a penalty being given away by Caicedo, Justin Kluivert was able to step up, take the penalty, and make it 1-1 in the 50th minute. Now, things would get worse for Chelsea as in the 68th minute, Antoine Semenyo would add to the scoring as Ryan Christie would have provided the assist. However, as I said before, Chelsea in the second half had to wait for stoppage time and for the introduction of Reece James, and through luck of a free kick being given to them in the latter stages of the stoppage time of the second half. Reece James scores it, puts it to the left of the goalkeeper for Bournemouth, who was not able to keep it out, and it's 2-2. Chelsea fans are elated to know that they are not going to see their team lose. However, they will still be disappointed as this would mean that they would be winless for another match in the Premier League as well. But from a Bournemouth perspective, this meant that they were coming closer to Chelsea in terms of position. However, as you guys will see as we discuss other matches that would have happened in the past weekend, things may have changed for both sides. But let's not jump ahead of ourselves. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let us just progress to the next match. But once more, take the time to invite you guys to ensure that you share the channel as well. Share GFC Garvan's channel. He does a lot for the community. And as I said before, I have to thank him publicly here as well for entrusting me with the hosting duties for a segments that he wants to make more consistent. So the next match we'll talk about is Brentford versus Manchester City. Now this match took place at the GTEC Community Stadium, Brentford's stadium, and they were at home. However, this match had no goal. It was a very dull match in the first half, as neither side were able to get a goal to break the deadlock. However, it would take the second half and relatively the hour mark for a goal to come. In the 66th minute, Phil Foden would get his first of 2 goals of his brace via an assist from Kevin De Bruyne. However, he wasn't done there as he scored 12 minutes later in the 70th minute. But Brentford were not going to give up. This was a match that Man City would have been happy and said, oh, they're actually back. This is a good way for them to come back. However, Brentford had other plans. Wissa scored in the 82nd minute via an assist from Roosevelt. And because of that, that gave them the momentum, the belief, the drive that they could get a point. And so said, so done. In the 92nd minute, the second minute of added time in that second half, Christian Norgard got an assist from Luis Porter to put the team back on level terms with Manchester City and to leave their stadium and to leave Man City with only 1 point of a potential 3. Brentford will be happy that they were able to not suffer another defeat this season. However, things will obviously be different as you will see as we progress to the next match week that would have taken place subsequently. Now let's move on to the next match that is there. But as I've said before, let me know what you guys are thinking as we progress through the fixtures that took place between the period of January 14 to January 16. Let's start with Arsenal versus Spurs next. The London derby. We see Arsenal just about being able to edge this match. They edge them. And this is a match that Spurs fans and even the manager will be disappointed with. Now, as you guys can see, Tottenham Hotspurs were the team to open the scoring, breaking the deadlock in the 25th minute via Son Heung-min goal. However, they would be left disappointed as the first of two goals that they would concede through Arsenal came through a Dominic Solanke own goal. A deflection placed the ball in the back of the net, making it 1-1 just at that point before Leandro Trossard would score the second goal for Arsenal and the final goal for them in this match via Martin Odegaard assist. Now, Spurs would have tried, Arsenal would have tried to extend the lead, however, nothing came of it, and the match would have been decided in the first half alone based on the goals that were scored. But we move on to the next fixture, but the situations are so light and day between the both teams. Spurs find themselves in the bottom half of the Premier League table, while Arsenal find themselves in the top half and in the top two of the Premier League as well. But let us proceed to the next match that we will be discussing, and we are officially in the slot of the Wednesday, January 15, 2025 fixtures. And the next match we'll be discussing is Newcastle 3, Wolves 0. Wolves find themselves in a relegation scrap, and they are trying earnestly to get themselves out of the relegation scrap. It's been an uphill battle for them presently. However, Newcastle did not show any mercy as they would score their first of three goals. And the first goal that they would score came from Alexander Isak in the 34th minute. Now, that would be the only goal of that first half. There would have been opportunities before then. Wolves would have tried their best. However, they could not get a goal in that first half, and it would end at halftime at 1-0. The second half, Alexander Isak got his second goal to complete his brace via the Bruno Guimaraes assist in the 57th minute. He would be followed up with an Anthony Gordon goal in the 74th minute to make it 3-0 and getting the 3 points for Newcastle as well. Now, as I said before, Newcastle found themselves in a situation where they could potentially get top 4. They are in a 3-man horse race in terms of those who are in close proximity points related of getting top 4. Manchester City are also amongst the mix. Chelsea are also amongst the mix as well, as Wolves also try to get themselves out of the bottom 3 and try to rescue themselves from being relegated to the second division or the championship, to be more specific. But let's move on to the next fixture that took place on Wednesday, January 15, 2025. Now, the next fixture that we'll talk about is Leicester versus Crystal Palace. We will be discussing Leicester City versus Crystal Palace. Now, at the King Power Stadium, it will be disappointment as Crystal Palace got a 2-0 win through John Felipe Mateta scoring the second half, and Mark Guiu finishing it up for them to get the 3 points being returned with the Eagles. Now, let's proceed quickly to the next match as we are running out of time, as the show should be only an hour long. But let us just look at what the chat is saying. Hilltop Kid is saying, active up, my friend. He also says Man City should have never lost. lose that. Yeah, I mean, well, I'm not sure if you're talking about the match that they had in the Champions League, which we will not be really be discussing. But at the same time, I understand what you're saying. Manchester City find themselves in a very tough situation as well. But let's proceed to the next fixture that should be discussed here. Let me just get back to where I was. This is the challenge that's here. But Everton versus Aston Villa. Aston Villa edged Everton by 1 goal through Ollie Watkins' goal in the 51st minute, the second half to be exact. Morgan Rogers getting the assist. Now Everton find themselves in a situation after sacking Sean Dyche, still not being able to get the points that they want to be getting. And this match was just confirmation that things will be taking time if they are to rescue their season. and to be back to where they want to be in terms of actually being in the top half of the table. But it will be an uphill battle, it appears, for the Toffees. But let's move on to the next fixture and let's progress to the 16th of January, if I'm not mistaken. Right, so let's go to Man United versus Southampton. Man United were able to rescue themselves from suffering an embarrassing defeat after Manuel Ugarte placed Southampton ahead via known goal in the 43rd minute, giving Southampton the lead at half time. The second half saw three late goals coming from Amar Diallo, who got himself an assist as well. The 82nd minute being the first goal, the 90th minute being the second goal, and the third goal to solidify that comeback win, and for him to get his hat trick as well in the 94th minute, fourth minute of added time as well. So let's move on to the next fixture as we try to quickly get to the news aspect of this and progress to the more important news. So, Ipswich versus Brighton, a match that saw Brighton get 3 points while Ipswich were trying to get themselves all the relegation scrap, lost at home, Portman Road Stadium. Now, as you guys can also see, this match, as well as other matches that occurred during this match week, came in the second half as well, as Kaoru Matoma got the first goal for Brighton in the 59th minute, the second half of the game. And that was followed up around 23 minutes later through Nota, who got the second goal to confirm a defeat for Ipswich and a win for Brighton as well. Now let's move on to the next result that will be taking place, that would have taken place, correction, on the following match week, which would have been 22. So let's progress to this. Starting with Arsenal versus Aston Villa. At the Emirates Stadium, we see that Arsenal had a somewhat of an embarrassing result as at the hand of their former manager, Unai Emery. Now, Arsenal had a 2-goal lead, and also this match would also have something that is really frustrating for them as well. But let's go through it step by step. Now, in the first half, Gabriel Martinelli got the lead for Arsenal, and at halftime would have been 1-0. Now, Kai Havertz scoring 10 minutes after the restart, after an assist from Leandro Trossard, who also got the assist in the first half for Gabriel Martinelli's goal in the 35th minute. Now, 5 minutes later, Aston Villa would push back, and they would actually be rewarded as Yuri Tillemans would have put the opportunity created by Lucas Didi, who would have gotten the assist, away in the 60th minute. Matty Cash would also get himself an assist as well, another fullback for the Villa team. For Ollie Watkins, who scored in the 68th minute, following up with another goal, back-to-back goals for him in 2 consecutive match day fixtures. It's 2-2. But one of the most controversial things that a lot of people were debating about is Kai Havertz's goal being disallowed, as it was deemed as a handball before it went into the back of the net, which could have seen Arsenal getting 3 points. However, it wasn't meant to be, as the goal was chalked off due to handball in play. So let's move on to the next fixture that took place on Saturday, January 18, 2025. Now, the next fixture we'll be discussing is West Ham versus Crystal Palace. West Ham suffered 2-0 defeat after no goals in the first half. The second half started off relatively well for Crystal Palace, as they were able to get their first goal of the match in the 48th minute. They would have to go through a back and forth, and a sloppy period of play between both teams would be concluded with a 89th minute conversion of a penalty for Mateta once more. Eze would have gotten the assist for Mateta's first goal in the 48th minute, and West Ham would suffer another defeat of the season, while Crystal Palace would continue on their winning run as well. Let's move on to the next fixture that took place on the 18th of January as we try to progress rapidly to the news segment where we discuss transfer news as we are in the transfer market period of the season presently. Now, Leicester City suffered yet another defeat, and Fulham were able to bounce back after suffering a defeat in their prior match as well. Emil Smith Rowe would score the first goal of the match after a goalless first half in the 48th minute, thanks to a Lukic assist in the 48th minute as well. Adama Traore would follow that up 20 minutes later after Harry Wilson would have created an opportunity that Traore converted in the 68th minute as well. Leicester City are in a situation where they're trying not to get relegated. However, it's been an uphill battle for them. While Fulham see themselves in the top half of the table and they try to push through and could perhaps try to push for a European spot as well in the top 6 position. But we'll see what happens for both teams. But both teams find themselves in different positions and situations at different parts of the table. Let's progress to the next match here that would have taken place on the 18th of January. And that match comes in the form of Liverpool versus Brentford. A very interesting match here. A match that Brentford would have thought they would have been able to leave their stadium and Liverpool having to leave with a draw. However, the addition and substitution, particularly of Darwin Núñez, in the stoppage time would be crucial as he would get a brace in firstly the 91st minute, the first minute of added time, and subsequently to confirm it in the 3rd minute of added time to make it 2-0 and 3 points for Liverpool, who find themselves comfortable at the top of the Premier League table as well. Now, a lot of people say that matches like these, getting wins in the late aspect of the match, is the definition of a real champion. And perhaps you can say that that is the case, as Liverpool are getting wins galore, and they still have only lost one match. But the interesting thing here is the fact that they've only suffered one defeat in the Premier League, and they are yet to suffer another one, or look close to suffering another one in the Premier League as it presently stands. Now, many people may argue that if Brentford were able to convert chances and actually get beyond the good defending by Liverpool, they perhaps could have caused an upset and give Liverpool the second defeat of the Premier League campaign. However, it wasn't meant to be, and Liverpool would get the 3 points as well. Let's progress to the next fixture as we are winding down from reviewing the Premier League matches of not only match week 21 but of match week 22 as well. Now, we will proceed to speak about the final match on the 18th of January in the form of Bournemouth versus Newcastle, or Newcastle versus Bournemouth in terms of which team is the home side. Now, at St. James's Park, it would be goals galore as Bournemouth would open the scoring through Justin Kluivert, who would subsequently get an assist as well and also get a hat-trick, being involved in not only 3 goals but 4 goals as well, getting a fantastic echelon of support there. But he opened the score the 6th minute, as I mentioned before. Semenyo would have gotten the assist for that goal. That was followed up with a Bruno Guimaraes response for Newcastle via Lewis Hall assist. Now, Kluivert was not going to give up, and just before half-time, he would have restored the lead for Bournemouth to make it 2-1 at half-time. Now, after a back and forth, after Newcastle trying so hard to get back another goal to make it 2-2, in the latter part of the match and in the stoppage time period to be exact, Justin Kluivert would complete his hat-trick, and subsequently his goal be followed up with Kirkhead's goal in the 6th minute of added time, with Justin Kluivert getting the assist as we mentioned before. Involvement in all 4 goals present there for Kluivert as well. Now let's move on to the fixtures that occurred on the 19th of January. a lot of matches, a lot of goals were scored during these fixtures, these brief and small fixtures that happened on the 19th. But let's move on. And the first one we'll start with is with Manchester City getting back to winning ways in the Premier League after suffering a disappointing draw in their prior match, 2-2 draw in their prior match. But it started with Phil Foden getting the first goal of the match in the 27th minute. That would be followed up with a Mateo Kovacic goal, with Phil Foden being the creator for that goal instead. Phil Foden would get a third goal and the final goal of the first half for Manchester City via a Kevin De Bruyne assist. The next goal would be followed up in the second half through Jeremy Doku in the 49th minute. Kevin De Bruyne getting once more another assist. 8 minutes later, Erling Haaland got in on the action, and Jeremy Doku getting the assist there as well. Interchangeable, as you can see there. And Maketi would confirm the trashing, the 6-goal thriller that Manchester City would have given to Ipswich. The trashing, I should say, to make it 6-0. James Maketi in the 69th minute. Mateo Kovacic, I beg your pardon, got the assist for that goal as well. Now let's move to the next fixture. The other 3 matches that took place on the 19th of January. And the next fixture we'll talk about is a 5-goal thriller between Nottingham Forest, who still found a way to get a result, and they would have gotten a scare from Southampton, but it wasn't meant to be. It was destiny for Nottingham Forest to get the 3 points. Now, they opened the scoring in the 11th minute, Nottingham Forest, through Elliot Anderson. Morgan Gibbs-White with the assist. The following goal would be Callum Hudson-Odoi, Chris Wood getting the assist before he himself would get in on the action due to a Ola Aina assist in the 41st minute. Now, the second half, Southampton came out all guns blazing, trying to get back at level terms, and they would start in the 60th minute through Benderek's goal after Leslie Ugochukwu assist in the 60th minute as well. Now, Paul Anochu would get the second goal for Southampton in added time, giving them any hope of getting a point would have been nice. However, the match would only end 3-2 as Matheus Fernandes' assist to Paul would be the only goal that Southampton would score in that added time period, confirming a Nottingham Forest win and 3 points in their push to remain in the top 3 and even in a Champions League spot, to be back to where they once were as a team with 2 Champions League trophies as well. So let's move on to the next fixture. 2 more fixtures to go for the January 19th period. And we will try to go as quickly as possible as we try to get to the news segment, as I said before. Now, Manchester United will be disappointed here as they would suffer a 3-1 defeat at the hands of Brighton, a team that has beaten them in a lot of matches in recent time. Now, Brighton actually opened the scoring in the 5th minute through Mente, with Mitoma getting the assist in the 5th minute. Now, Bruno Fernandes would convert a penalty that was won for Manchester United, making it at halftime 1-1. Now, in the 60th minute, Mitoma got in on the action after an interchangeable moment happened here, with Menta being the assister for the goal. Now, Ruta would confirm the 3 points for Brighton in the 76th minute, causing another upset with Man United also there with Tottenham Hotspur in the bottom half of the table as well. Now let's move on to the next fixture, the final fixture of the matches that occurred on the 19th of January, and that fixture took the form of Everton versus Spurs. Everton got a win that they were very eager for, and Spurs would have given them a scare. However, they could not get another goal to make it a draw. But to go through the details of the proceedings, in the 30th minute, Dominic Calvert-Lewin opened the scoring with Edrezi Gay getting the assist in the 30th minute. That goal will be followed up 17 minutes later through Ndea, who would also be assisted by Edrezi Gay. That goal would be followed up with an own goal from Archie Gray. The young defender slash midfielder tried his best to do what he could. However, it wasn't enough as the ball would bundle into the back of the net, going past his goalkeeper to make it 3-0 at halftime. The Spurs came all guns blazing. They tried in that first half as well. That cannot fail to mention that. However, in the 77th minute, Kulusevski opened the scoring for Spurs, and it would be followed up with 50 minutes later through Richarlison, who would have given them a little bit of hope that they could actually come back. But it just wasn't enough. They could not get a third goal, and Everton get 3 points in a situation that they will be very much happy about. So let's move on to the next fixture that took place. Chelsea versus Wolves. Chelsea got back to winning ways here. The final match of the match week 22 period, and the only match on the 20th of January, Monday. Now, the match started off relatively even before Chelsea were dominating for the following 15 minutes after that, and they would be rewarded after deliberation through VAR. Tosin was deemed as not being offside, and he would open the scoring for Chelsea in the 24th minute. The match be disappointing for Chelsea as they would have been concerned that a replication of what happened against Bournemouth in their prayer match would happen here, as Matt Doherty would get a stoppage time goal in before the halftime whistle to make it 1-1 at halftime. The second half started off with Chelsea starting off the way that they did in the first half. Marc Cucurella would get at the end of a cross by Kieran Dewsbury-Hall in the 60th minute, with Noni Madueke taking the third goal from Chalobah as he would head it in, as it was perhaps going to go in, but as they say, you can never be too sure. And I'm sure a lot of fans were concerned about if Madueke would have let the goal be chalked off, as they were not sure if he was onside. But this was a result that Chelsea and Chelsea fans would have been happy about, as it was their first win since December, the mid part of December in the Premier League. But that concludes the match week 22 and the match week 21 recap as we progress now to the news section. Hope you guys have enjoyed the recap so far. Let me see what has been said here. The man of the hour, come of the hour. GFC Garvan is saying big up everyone. So, as you guys know, this is GFC Garvan's channel as well. So, once more, please be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications if you haven't already, so that you do not miss another show as well. And if you are new and you're watching this, if it's somehow in your recommended, please do drop a like and subscribe so that we can help GFC Garvan get to 3,000 subscribers as well. He deserves more than 3,000. He deserves to have been at probably 100,000 already for all the work that he puts into the channel. So let's progress to the news aspect of the show now. Transfer news and more as well. So bear with me, let me just switch windows. But as I said before, please do drop a like and please do subscribe as well. Let me change the window quickly as we try to conclude the 20 plus minutes left of the show with the news aspect of it. So bear with me, guys. But I hope everybody's doing well, and I hope you guys are having a good Thursday evening as well, if it is evening for you, afternoon if it is afternoon for you, morning if it's Friday for you. But let us start from top to bottom with a Fabrizio Romano briefing. Let me ensure that you guys can see what I'm talking about here. And the briefing states that Aston Villa has agreed a deal to sign Andreas Garcia from Levante for 7 million euros. The right back spoke with Unai Emery and accepted. The deal is set to be sealed as Relivo reports. Now, Aston Villa went into the market for a fullback, and they got a fullback, as we can see through Fabrizio Romano's briefing here, that the deal has been agreed between Levante and Aston Villa as well. Let me know what you guys think about that as well. Let's progress to the next news here as we scroll down here. And it's another Aston Villa related briefing, and Newcastle have joined them as well in this discussion as they are set to battle it out to sign AC Milan centre back Fikayo Tomori. Now, Fikayo Tomori is presently at AC Milan at the time of the stream, and he has been solid for them for the season that he's been there. I believe it's been 4 seasons now that he's been at AC Milan, and he is a centre back or defender that is deemed as very solid. So both teams are set to battle it out, according to Football Insider, to sign the AC Milan centre back Fikayo Tomori. Let's move on to the next story here that we have lined up for you guys, and it's Manchester City related. Now, Manchester City have signed 3 players presently, and they are not done yet, it appears. Now, One Football on the X states that Manchester City are not messing around this January transfer window. 75 million euros. They signed Omar Mamouche. They would have also signed another player from Uzbekistan, which is Abudukir Konosonov, for 40 million euros. They would also see another centre back in Vitoris for 37 million euros as well. So, Manchester City have signed 3 players. Though the question is still there: will Manchester City see themselves be fined? Will they be reprimanded severely if they're making these signings? Or is this a situation where they are making these signings because they know that they will be penalized, they'll be punished? Is that the case? Signing these young players now before they suffer whatever punishments, if they'll be punished severely for the breaches that they have been found guilty of. We will see what the verdict is in due course, but these are 3 signings that Manchester City have made and have been confirmed in the past week as well. So let's move on to the next news that we have lined up here. And it's essentially speaking about the fact that Mamouche clocks in as Manchester City's 4th most expensive signing. As we would have discussed, he is 75 million euros, but in pound sterling, it will be 63.2 million pounds. So we move on to another news here, and it comes in the form of an exclusive from Fabrizio Romano. Juventus agree deal with Chelsea to sign Renato Vega. It's a here we go, according to Fabrizio Romano. Now, the loan deal for 5 million euros loan fee until June, no buy option clause, and then player back to Chelsea at the end of June for Clubs World Cup. Vega expected to play as centre-back at Juventus. Now, I believe that Fabrizio Romano would have stated that he's playing as a centre-back here, as we would have seen at Chelsea that he is being utilised as a left-back or full-back. And in some cases, he would have been played as a midfielder, and at 1 or 2 instances, he played as a centre-back as well. Now, the question is there, who will deputise for Chelsea with the exit of this player, albeit on a temporary note, will take place in due time? That is something that, for Chelsea fans, they will be asking themselves. But we'll progress to the next news, as this is not solely on Chelsea, and we will evade from doing that as well. So the next report is Chelsea related, but AC Milan is eyeing up Axel Disasi. But to make any real progress on the matter, they must wait for Fikayo Tomori to leave. Newcastle and Juventus also hold interest in the Disasi as well. So we would have discussed that Newcastle are in for Fikayo Tomori. However, if that could not be the case, if they cannot get Fikayo Tomori, if he does not end up leaving or they cannot get him overall, they have their eyes on Axel Disasi, the first Frenchman who is deemed as surplus to requirements at Chelsea, could leave the club in this winter window. But we will see what happens there as well. Now let's progress to the next news that we have for you guys. And it's Chelsea related. I do promise you that we will not continue to speak about Chelsea only. But there's a lot of news that we've not mentioned as well. But for the sake of choosing the top news, and for the ones that are more current, as this is a delayed weekly roundup, we are utilizing news that are relevant mostly in the week that we're currently still in. But it does say that Chelsea wants to sign 19-year-old as Saint Entendine, promising midfielder Matthias Amubu with the prospect of loaning him to Strasbourg. This is our briefing by Santi underscore J underscore FM or Santi J FM. But we will progress to the next report that is here as well. Now, there is another report about Chelsea, but I will just touch on the surface so that we evade from just speaking mostly on Chelsea. But it is in regards to Matthias Tell, the young Bayern Munich player, winger forward, who could change his mind on leaving Bayern. That is according to Plenty Goal, as well as Mia San Mia, who states that after not playing in 2 games, Bayern are hoping he would decide to leave so that they can sign Nkunku from Chelsea as well. Now, the next report states that Chelsea have been conducting background checks on Garnacho as they are linked with Garnacho, and it's has been stated, just so I don't mention Chelsea again, let me utilize this opportunity now to say that Garnacho is a player that, according to reports, according to Fabrizio Romano, along with other options, Garnacho is a player that a bid could come in for, and a bid has reportedly been made if if things should be believed by Plenty Goal. That's what was being said prior. But the next report that we'll talk about is what RB Leipzig managing director Marcel Sacherf would have told Sky Sport Germany on Arsenal. There's definitely no contact with any other club. He will continue to wear the RB Leipzig jersey. That is according to the managing director at RB Leipzig, as we are aware of the fact that Arsenal are interested in the centre forward as well. This is in regards to Benjamin Sesko. Benjamin Sesko is a player that we would have known Arsenal wanted to sign this summer. It did not happen, and therefore they did not sign a centre forward as they would have wanted. And they still appear to have an interest in the player presently. We move on to this report here that goes in regards to the fact that Tottenham Hotspur suffered a defeat prior to this stream starting, and it states not a defeat, I beg your pardon, they would have gotten a win after it being a difficult match and they could have dropped points. But it wasn't straightforward. Nothing is for Tottenham. This is according to the Athletic. But Andy Postecoglou's side leave Germany with a much needed win. Hoffenheim pushed Spurs close in the second half, but they held on to move up to fourth in the Europa League table. As you can see there, the result ended 3-2. Hoffenheim almost getting a draw. However, Tottenham were able to see out the win that they had in their hands. Now, this report is on Manchester United, and it states that they have admitted that they're at risk of breaching the Premier League's profitability and sustainability rules unless they reverse the repeated financial losses. As previously communicated, we are currently making a significant loss each year, totaling over £300 million in the past 3 years. Now, that is very concerning. As a Man United fan, I'm sure they would be concerned as well. But let's move on to the next report here, which I believe can be ignored, which is Chelsea related. But I will go to Chris Wood here, who has signed a new contract with Nottingham Forest through until the summer of 2027. Wood has attracted interest from clubs in MLS and Saudi Arabia, but is happy in Nottingham and has chosen to join teammate Morello in extending his contract with NFFC. And that is the end of the news that we have for you for the fourth edition of what I have been doing as the weekly roundup. Hope you guys have enjoyed today's weekly roundup show, and I want to thank you guys for joining on the GFC Garvan channel. Once more, please be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications as well as we discuss the transfer news. We discuss the results of match week 1 of 21 and match week 22. And on behalf of GFC Garvan, My name is Tyrone, and I want to thank you guys once more for joining. I will see you guys, hopefully, for another weekly roundup. Same time on the weekend, possibly. We'll see what happens. No promises there, but weekly roundup episode 4 that I've done is in the books. Thank you guys for watching, and remember to subscribe. Peace.
From my bad place, oh yeah. Tryna be a better me just for you. But it ain't easy, it's hard to get used to. Minding my own business, I'm not worried about what he do. Cause nowadays, all it is let me see through. I always say this is that I'm staying around people. Finding my own path like I'm writing my own sequel. Two-faced people all around, they be equal. 2021, you can never trust nobody. Good and bad thoughts on my mind, they be crowded. Pushing to get past his limits, then he see he bought it. Family work hard, but I never catch them from it. Came a long way, in my dream now I be drowning. They dying out here, got some hearts pounded. Multi-talented, my passion I haven't found it. Yeah, in my home, I was never ever doubted. I'm here from my bad place, oh yeah. Tryna be a better me just for you. But it ain't easy, it's hard.